Remix my fitness. And I want to know what the heck that even means.
Okay.
Because I'd love to remix my fitness.
It's oh my God. Welcome to the More Than Just Dumbbells podcast. Kitty Truex. My name is Jason Lindsay. What's your name?
Jason Lindsay. My name is Kitty Truex.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're on camera. Jazz hands for you, not for me. So, how do you feel about this camera business?
I don't mind it. Hey out there in TV
So you're
land.
staring at, like, I'm looking at a camera there. Hi, how you doing? Good to see you.
How you doing?
Well, I can't see you. You could see me. Sorry. But, yeah, it's apparently, this is going to be a big deal for the what do we call it? MJTD? Is that what it is?
More than just dumbbells.
More than just
MTJD.
Yeah. Podcast. Who came up with that name? No, I'm just kidding. It was me.
It was me.
Yeah.
I did.
I'll give you credit.
I did.
It's fine. I gave you credit. So
you are more than just a dumbbell.
I barely. But here's the thing. This is going to be a big deal. People are going to want to watch us on YouTube.
Well, heck yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And catch us, but if you can't watch us, you can catch us on like the Apple and the Spotify and
Apple
all that
iTunes.
stuff.
Go review us, by the way, on Apple iTunes. That'd be rad.
And this is Monday episode with a guest. And our guest today is
some of my faves. His name is Jimmy Kim, but he goes by MC Kim.
He sounds like a really, really fun guy, right?
He's a podcast host. Like, other people pay him to do their
so
podcasts.
Why would somebody want to not tune out, keep listening? What are they going to get out of listening to us talk to Jimmy Kim via Skype?
Zoom.
Zooms.
Well, as I mentioned, he's a podcast host. He has something called Remix My Fitness.
Remix My Fitness.
And I want to know what the heck that even means.
Okay.
Because I'd love to remix my fitness.
It's oh my God. So
you love me.
Yeah, barely. So it sounds like he's fun. Like remix is a fun thing,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's a personal trainer coach.
Coach. Yeah. He used to own a kettlebell gym, and he also apparently has done a lot of startups. And he's a CEO of some other cool stuff too.
Yeah.
That's not fitness related, but I'd like to hear about that. He's lost 70 pounds himself. Figured out how to really enjoy the process of losing 70 pounds. So I really want to hear about that.
So he was a little overweight, or a lot overweight.
Sounds like
actually.
it. Yeah.
Right.
70 pounds is quite a bit.
Yeah. And
that's a huge transformation.
Do we know? We'll ask him if you don't already know, and we might ask him again anyway. But when did he lose this? Was this recently?
I have no idea. That's a great question. Yeah. Yep. That we will ask him.
And he's kept it off. Good for him. And now he changes lives and he does podcasts.
High fives change lives.
Yeah. Good vibes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Well, so anything we want to let listeners know, as far as the video, is there anything we got to cover here? We got Nervous Dan over there, wants to make sure that everything's looking good.
Nervous Dan?
Probably, well, I don't know.
Looking good over there, Nervous Dan.
I don't know if he's ever nervous.
I wish you could see Nervous Dan right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, we could.
Come here, show him. Show him who you are, Dan.
I'll tell you what, I'm a little nervous about being able to see Jimmy on the computer, because we, historically, other than when requested, have just done telephone.
Correct.
Cell phone on my phone, which is right here. There you go.
There it is. There it is.
But now we've got Zoom, and we've done Zoom a couple times.
Yeah. But we did it with Ryan Tedder.
Yeah, without a picture.
Without a picture. That would have been really cool, though. Ugh, that would have been awesome. But
do you fancy him an attractive man?
I think just a little fancy.
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what he looks like. I couldn't pick him out of a crowd of two standing next to you.
Okay.
But
touche, Jay.
Yeah. No. I'll shut up. All right. Cool.
Ready to get Jimmy Kim?
I'm ready to get Jimmy Kim.
All right. Let's do it.
You're listening to the More Than Just Dumbbells podcast, sponsored by PowerBlock. After the show, head on over to powerblock.com and check out the wide variety of adjustable dumbbells. Please, they pay our bills. We would appreciate it. And now, back to the podcast.
And we're back from a brief break. Kitty, do you know what the word faux pas means?
No.
I just had
Tell
one.
Me.
Well, it's our first time on video, so therefore we got a Zoom. It's Zoom, right? Not Skype, Zoom. We got the wonderful Jimmy Kim. How you doing today, Jimmy?
Not too bad. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and he comes in when I'm saying something inappropriate, shocking, but that's edited out.
Not a shocker.
No, it wasn't that bad. Jimmy, thanks for your time today. I know you're a loyal listener, which we appreciate, even if you're just
high fives,
saying
man.
that.
Thank you.
Do you feel special that you're the first on video guest?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I've seen your listener list, and the fact that you guys chose me as your first video, my mother has always said, "Honey, I love you, but you have a face for radio." So, to guys put me on here and to be your first video guest, I appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank you guys so much.
I had to talk people into it. I said, Jimmy Kim, and they're like, really? No, I'm kidding. No. kidding. So, Jimmy, let's start with this question. You're sitting in this wonderful studio. We'll get to we're not. I don't want to ask you a question about Power Block, although back right, I see the Power Block.
Baby's in the corner.
Yeah, props. Where are you at? What part of the world do you live?
Yeah, so I'm part of this place called Toronto, Canada.
Heard of it?
We do say A when some of us say boat and all that kind of good stuff. So those rumors are all true. I'm in my home studio, so I have a podcast production company that I also has kind of ignited during the pandemic, and I was renting studios out here in Toronto to do my own podcasts, and obviously this thing called the pandemic kind of happened, and we couldn't rent these spots out. So I said, hey, you know what? I'm invested into this, so let's go ahead and let's build my own studio. Despite
I dig it.
This used to be my wife's walk-in closet that I said, hey, I'm sorry, hon, I gotta boot some of this stuff out here. I gotta make some money to fill in a closet. So she was understanding of it.
That's
so
awesome.
Appreciate her as well.
Are you a Toronto native? Is that where you're from?
Yeah, Toronto native, born and raised. And I, never really been anywhere else or lived anywhere else. I've traveled here and there. So, born and raised in Toronto.
Toronto, Canada. You say?
Have you guys ever been?
I have not been to Toronto.
My ancestry is French Canadian. That's about as far as I go.
Okay.
But I've heard wonderful things about Toronto, and I will get there someday. I have no doubt.
I have no doubt.
But I know that we're higher north right now, higher latitude than Minneapolis. We're in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So it's colder here than there.
Yeah, it's coming.
I hear you guys are some Viking fans over there.
Yeah. Despite the team's performance, I'm still a Viking fan.
Good boy.
Probably not as passionate as Kitty's husband, but I'm guessing you're a hockey fan.
Not so much. Growing up, I was like not one of those. I was like a fat kid, and not really like good at doing anything else. And of course, my parents owned a convenience store. So being a fat kid, having access to all the junk in the world, just really like didn't really propel me to want to do anything. And we moved around a lot growing up. So by the time I was 10 years old, we had already moved maybe 13 times around the city of Toronto. So
holy moly.
So it was just kind of being stationary at school, and kind of didn't really live in the most nicest kind of neighborhoods, growing up. So wasn't really allowed to go outside to do the regular things. And I never really found I was very good at sports. However, when I was 16 years old, like my eyes were open to the weight room. We finally got 16, high school. They let you into that dungy like basement.
Oh yeah.
Dusty kind of weight room, and for whatever reason, that thing called to me. And I was like, okay, I want to know more about this. And I had a fantastic gym teacher who was a former professional football player, and he taught us the ins and the outs of weight training, strength training. And like I was one of the few students that listened to him. Rest in peace, Mr. Sparks. He passed away just a couple of years ago. But the lessons that I learned when I was 16 are exactly the same thing, no matter how many times they transform into do this move or this, there's this, that, how to squat. It's exactly the same, many, many, many years later.
So let me ask you this, Jimmy Kim. You're a chubby kid in Toronto, walking up and down the aisles of the convenience store, grabbing corn nuts and whatever else you can get your hands on, and BQ barbecue, and so talk about that, because then you jumped ahead, which is great. At 16, you found fitness, the way it sounds. Before then, like ages 12, 13, 14, were you just kind of were you a miserable fat kid? Were you just a happy fat kid? What was it? What was it like?
A mix of both. As I always went, because I've been through many different like transformations throughout my life. So being a really fat kid, in my heart of hearts, no matter how much I've changed, that kind of fat shy kid is always in there. That doesn't mean that I wasn't unhappy, and it doesn't mean that I wasn't I wasn't unathletic either. My parents put me in a lot of individual sports like martial arts, swimming, tennis, things like that. It's just I didn't really have like a body to look like people would take me seriously, and I would always get made fun of. Like a nickname that I had two major nicknames in school, which were E Honda from Street Fighter 2 and Yokozuna from WWE wrestling. So they were basically both like sumo wrestlers, and then you kind of maybe get an idea of like what people thought. But for me, I was generally a pretty chipper kid. What I have found, whether I was a kid or as an adult, being an overweight adult, was that everybody else around me was unhappy for me. You know, and that kind of like brought me down a little bit. You know, so I'm walking around,
projecting onto you.
Yeah, I'm being jolly, and then just kind of like every time they see me, they're just like, "Hey, Jimmy, you know, the best way for you to lose weight, or you know, when you get into your 20s, you're not going to be able to get any girls. Oh, Jimmy, you know this and that." And I was just kind of like, that would always be like such a bummer, and it'd always be from people who you care about, like who care about you the most, like uncles, aunts, parents, and they mean well, right? They mean well, but you know how it goes.
They mean well, and let me make my own decisions. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Was this 70-pound loss? Did that happen at 16? Was that when?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah. So actually, so I wasn't too like. I mean, I think I was maybe closer to say like 200 pounds when I was 16 years old, and I came back one summer. I had joined like the local like community center, and I had no idea that I was even losing weight. I was just going to the gym every day because I liked going there, like pumping iron. And I come back in September, and all the kids, particularly the ladies, were just like, "Jimmy, what the heck happened to you?" Like, what? Yeah, and I was just like, "Oh, I don't know. I just been going to the gym every day." And so all that stuff happened. I was really fit for a little while, and then I went to post-secondary school, and I found like the cafeteria is open, and then boom, like that old convenience store fat kid like came out, was like fast food, party, alcohol, all that stuff, and then I ended up gaining a whole bunch of weight. And then I after school I was trying to figure out what to do, so I happened to find like a government job what I always call like a temporary government job, which ended up being temporary. Like 11 years I spent at the government, and I started gaining more and more and more weight as the time went on, and I ballooned up to like 275 pounds. And no matter what anybody told me, even like I went to the doctor's office with my wife at the time, and my wife's like I'll say she's quite the chubby chaser herself, so she always kind of likes me.
He said that out loud.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I say that on the show, but
no, I
but she is, and I have I've made a promise with her, like when I'm done with this side of the business, she's asked me if I can make sure I gain like an extra 10-15 pounds. So
wow, that's a woman right there.
Yeah. You know,
give her some daps for me, Jimmy.
Yeah, she's fit. She's fit and she's petite, and for whatever reason, she just likes to she likes to wrap her arms around a big dude and not be able to wrap her hands around that. That's
like a teddy bear.
Thing. Yeah, exactly.
And I hear
she knows what she likes.
Well, I also hear that she liked our episode on sex and fitness.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, for more reasons than one, So, like I was there at my government job, and look, it was a great job, but I was like 26 years old, 27 years old, and we had to do this like pension like thing, like when could we retire? And mine was like 53 years old and with like a full pension and this and that, which sounds amazing to like a lot of people, and even kind of sometimes now a little bit older, I'm thinking like, man, that would have been great. But what the big kind of TSN turning point from really big like turning point for me was like everybody else around me was so happy for me. But I was not happy, and I was like, I want what these people want, and I got to make a change for myself. So why don't I start changing by losing weight? And of course, being like a fat guy, all I'm doing is I'm obsessing over how am I going to lose weight. I'm doing martial arts, and I'm doing soccer. I'm doing all these athletic things for the sake of, I think these things are going to help me lose weight.
Got it.
And not, oh, you know what? I want to do these things because like I actually like doing it. And if I could share with you guys a quick little photo over here.
Yeah.
Oops, wrong one. Over here. So that's what I call my 3 phases of like weight loss. And I apologize to any viewers out there who might have to see a fat guy with a shirt on. But there's me. And then there's the second photo where I'm a lot more fit. Now I'm taking like photos for like websites, magazines, things like that. And I'll tell you, between the first and second photo, I am equally unhappy. I'm equally unhappy that I gotta go and weight train all the time. I gotta carry on bottles of water. I gotta carry on Tupperwares of food. I gotta say no to this, and that. So the third photo was taken, I think, about a year and a half ago at a photo shoot, and to me, that's where I felt like I found like a balance between myself. Like I have 2 kids now, and it was always like this kind of like this guilt, like they would go and eat like fast food, and at this, they wouldn't eat everything, and at the same time, I'd be like, oh man, you know what? I can't eat that, but also I paid my hard-earned dollars to buy that, and that's just going to go into the trash. So it was always this like dilemma, like, should I eat it? Should I not eat it? Should I just throw it out?
Oh, that's a waste of
What
energy.
am I doing?
Oof.
Yeah. So that was like, I was just like, you know what? Let's go back to the root of things. Like, let's literally go back to when I was 16 years old. Why do I train? I train because I like it. I really, really do. I like the strength training aspect of it. So why don't I go and do it? So, basically, like, I had lost all the weight at the government, and people were asking me, like, how'd you do it? Starting charging, giving people information for free. Then all of a sudden, I'm doing it for like $10 an hour, $20 an hour, and I'm booking my book here. My calendar's getting busy, and I'm thinking, like, maybe I could do this full time. Maybe. So, I took the leap at the age of 30. I was just like, you know what? I'm out of here, guys. Sorry. And I haven't looked back since.
Good for you. It sounds like you enjoy the process now.
I enjoy the process, and within the fitness field, like, I have done everything. I've done kids camps. We have done martial arts camps, kettlebells, outdoor, indoor. I've had my own studio for 4 years, which, sounds like a dream to everybody, but I hated it. I hated owning a studio.
I hear
those
that.
hours are like 6 a.m., then 12, then 8, 9, and just, I don't know if you guys ever owned studios before. But
I did for 5 months.
For 5 months. So
couldn't hang.
you know what I'm talking
Couldn't hang.
about, right?
Yep, couldn't
And
hang.
Jeez.
and it's like you end up like the idea of it, like, you get to fill it up with your own equipment, and it becomes like you, but then at the same time, like, you're so busy, like, counting heads, and you're like, am I going to be able to pay
and you can
rent
cap.
today?
You can absolutely cap by how many people you can fit in there.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, I just totally lost, like, the love of it, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's the first business I ever owned that I, like, closed, because I just couldn't do it anymore.
That was in 2017, correct? That you closed
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Now, and then you went to the virtual platform. Am I right?
Just before that, well, it kind of led me to the virtual platform.
Okay.
Was as I was closed. The reason why I closed my studio is I was doing, like, corporate fitness and wellness programs. So I would go to these companies. A client of mine was like, "Can you come to, like, my company, and could you work us out? We got, like, a small gym." I'm like, "Sure." Not thinking much of it. And I go there, and they got a beautiful gym, like this fantastic gym. I was like, "Wait a minute, like, you're gonna pay me to come and work you guys out, and I don't have to pay rent or anything like that. You're gonna pay me, like, pretty okay money to do it. So you guys can't be the only ones that do this." So that's when I kind of, like, hedged my bets, and again made another little risk, and just like, you know what, let me find more companies that do this, or let me help companies figure this out. So the whole way the virtual thing kind of came about was because because of this thing called the pandemic kind of happened, and we can't all of a sudden train in person. So I opened up my laptop, and I was like, hey guys, let's work out. And I still had all these offerings. I got bills to pay. I got kids to feed.
For sure.
So, and then now you look kind of the way I have it set up. So there I have this studio set up for the podcasting. I have another room in the place that is now set up for all the fitness stuff. So we went from just like a simple opening up your laptop to, being able to superimpose timers and emoticons, emojis, and microphones and music and
Awesome.
all that kind of stuff like that. So it's been a great learning experience. And I think one of your guests, Bob, who was teaching about financial stuff on your podcast. Great guest, by the way. He was talking about, like, learning stuff. So this was a great way for me to kind of learn a whole bunch of stuff as well. So
I got a question for you. So you were talking about podcasting, right? You have a podcast on your own called Remix My Fitness. What exactly does that mean to you, Jimmy?
Yeah, so Remix My Fitness is, that there's more than one way to train, eat, and live. I think a lot of people when they think, like, I want to lose weight or I want to get strong, the image that pop into their mind is like, the only way to do it is, like, to go to a gym and train weights or hop in a class or do things like that. But for me, it's been about finding that aha moment with my clients and just going, like, you know what? Well, I always start training with body weight and weights, like the power blocks, easily, like, being able to take around the place to different places. But at a certain point, you all of a sudden kind of you kind of feel from the client, like, wait a minute, I don't think they like this, and they'll tell you, like, I've had this one client literally, threw a power block at me, like, not in a malicious way, but he just dropped in. He's like, Jimmy, I don't care if I lift 5 more pounds tomorrow. I don't care if I can press another 5 more reps next week. Like, this doesn't interest me at all. And I went to my car and I got some boxing gloves and we started working out the pads. He's never boxed before and anything like that. And he was wiped out 15 minutes later. And he's like, can I ask you something? I'm like, Sure. He's like, is this considered a workout? Like, is this a workout? Because it's freaking fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, exactly. And I have another like quick little photo here. Like, so this is my idea of like fitness. Like I personally myself, like I need to do different things to keep things interesting for me. So whether that's obstacle
Are you
courses-
murdering
I was gonna say,
somebody
are you
there?
Jack?
Are you-
Yeah,
What is
so I
that?
had to cut that part out
Axe
because my
murderer?
kids were there. I'm kidding. So from like weight training to obstacle courses to martial arts, like I gotta constantly keep it interesting. Like during
Yeah.
the pandemic, I decided to pick up longboarding. Out of all things, I woke up one morning, I was just like, I gotta do something different. I gotta remix my life.
Should
up.
I know
So-
what longboarding is?
Why don't you ask Jimmy what it is?
What's longboarding, Jimmy?
Well, longboarding is basically like skateboarding, except it's just like a really long skateboard. And the main difference is that, I mean, you could do like tricks and stuff on it, but you can travel longer distances and you can go really
Okay.
fast. Like I'll share with you some longboarding.
You don't have an
videos
image
people-
of that? You got images of everything else?
Nah, you know what? Because I'm a
Disappointed.
terrible longboarder, and I will
Okay.
not let people take me.
Right
take
now
pictures
you're
of me.
terrible, but it sounds like you're practicing, brother. Good for you.
Exactly.
So I was going to ask you, what do you feel the number one mistake people make is when it comes to their fitness?
Just being so like what is when it comes to like you know, in terms of like weight loss, just being so fixated with that number, right?
Right.
Like myself, right? And I compare it to this. Your number on your scale is exactly like your number on in your bank account. You'll never be satisfied with that number.
Ooh.
No matter what. You can make as much money as you want, but I'll tell you, rich people, they still not satisfied with the number in the bank account. They still want to make more money. People who I have trained to lose weight, they say, "Oh, Jimmy, it'd be great if I lost like 30 pounds." I'm like, sure. We get down to 30 pounds and I'm like, you know what? This is not what I thought this was going to look like. 5 more pounds. Another 5 more pounds. And I'm like, wait a minute. When is enough for you? You know, so like think like using weight loss or even like picking up heavier weights. Those are excellent metrics and definitely something to have a goal in mind to think of as you're training, but it shouldn't be the only and end all be all of things.
I love that. Thank you. Say it louder for the people in the back. The number on the scale is not everything.
Yeah.
No,
It isn't, because I mean, like, look at it. Like let's say a bodybuilder who is like 200 pounds looks completely different than somebody who's 200 pounds and, you know, is overweight.
For sure.
So if you just base it just on the number, you're like, it's never going to add up. It's got to really come from like, what is it that you want out of this thing called fitness and health, you know? So
I love
Jimmy,
that.
Then give some advice on tips or tips on for setting realistic goals and achieving them. Then, you know, give me an example of that.
yeah. So I mean, first of all, setting a goal. Like I think when people think of like setting the goal initially, like go for what you want, right? Which is, you know what, if you want to lose weight, like put that up there. But then you need to go out and you need to set like a little challenge for yourself, right?
Dig it.
It's not enough to be like, okay, you know what, I want to lose 30 pounds, because
Right.
you could lose 30 pounds in so many different ways. Like it doesn't have to be just like running on a treadmill. So setting a challenge, like, you know what, maybe an obstacle course, or maybe like, you know, I get things like, oh, I want to be able to play with my kids, but at the park without being tired. But like, what is that? Like, give me like a metric. Is it like you want to be able to run around with them for 30 minutes and like not feel tired? Do you want to be able to jump up and down to the playground? Do you want to run like a marathon? Do you want to go into a martial arts tournament? Do you want to have the confidence so that you can go and travel around the world and without the fear of like being tired? Like, what is that challenge going to be for you? Because look, if that challenge is too easy, like that, you know, one of those games on your phone where you just kind of swipe.
Yes.
Sure, it's fun for like a couple seconds, but then what? What happens? You get so bored of it and you're just like, yeah, you know what? Forget it. Likewise, if that challenge is too impossible, too hard, and like it's just like so far out there, right? What's going to happen? You're going to give up.
Yeah.
So there is the goal, there is the challenge, but I think the third and most important thing that I think a lot of people take for granted and don't even think of is this thing, fitness, this thing, health, physical activity, whatever you want to call it. It's got to be freaking fun for you. Like, it's got to like ignite you to wake up in the morning, or to go out there after work, or to do it on the weekends. Like why else are you going to go out and be lifting weights, like, and, you know, and sweating it up with people or at home or whatever? Like, what is the reason that's going to get you to do that? And I hope it's because it's going to be fun for you to do. And for me, when I think of my own fitness, I think about my own challenges that I want to do. At the end of it, it's always got to be like, Jimmy, is this fun for you? Is this gonna wake you up in a day? Is this gonna get you to do it after you're so tired from work? Are you still gonna do it? You know, so that those would be the three things that I definitely think about when setting up goals.
I love that.
I dig that.
I love that, MC. But I was thinking of a friend of mine who, and then related to your friend who was not interested in lifting the power block. the only person I haven't met him, but the only person I've ever heard who doesn't like power block. But anyway, just kidding.
And he threw it, and it's still there.
He tossed
Look
it.
at that.
He hated it so much he threw it across the room. Are you sure it wasn't a Bowflex dumbbell? Anyway,
Hey.
I was gonna say.
so here's the deal. I got a friend who hates lifting weights, right? So there you go. He hates it, but he knows it's important to exercise, right? So that's okay. Find something else where there's, now you do have to incorporate a strength component, boxing or put, I don't know, something. But it sounds like you've kind of mastered that, MC guy in the master mix.
MC Kim.
Yeah, MC Kim. So is that accurate to say you spend a lot of time with your clients on, hey, what do you think is fun? And maybe you have an example of somebody who didn't even really know what was fun. They're like, I don't like exercise, period. And
Yeah,
then you got to go from there.
I'll tell you. I'll use the same guy who threw that weight at me.
Please do.
And we still weight train now. And it's and for me it's like I can't rely on the client to tell me what's fun for them, because at the end of it they don't know, right? It's my job as their coach to be like, hey, you know what? Let's try this. Let's do that. Let's do this. And like I'm trying to figure out what's going to, like, I call it the fitness DNA. I try to figure out what their fitness DNA is. So with that particular client who threw that weight at me, we tried boxing, but again, like I noticed like that's not the only thing that he wants to do. So I said, look, what do you want to do? If like time and money and all that stuff wasn't about. He said, I love to play basketball with my friends. And he's like, I don't know how to do this. So I said, you know what? I rented basketball courts and gyms at public schools here in Toronto, and I know the permit, how to get permits and things. I said, I'll get a permit. All you got to do is bring your friends. I got the permit, but there's another hitch. It's 45 minutes away, so that's 45 minutes, and we're gonna play for an hour, and then 45 minutes back. That's so much time. I was like, just do it. Just trust me. Just get your friends, come out and do it. An hour goes by. 2 hours go by. Thank goodness I got that permit for 2 hours. So 45 minutes to travel there, 2 hours to play. I'll say 45 minutes, but I know they all went out drinking after, drinking food after basketball. And the whole time, he had no idea time had passed.
Right.
And he's having so much fun. Now, we can't play basketball all the time. But now we've set up a rec league for him and his friends to go and play. And now what do? Now we weight train so that he doesn't get injured.
Right.
So that he's
and he can be a better player.
paint.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then
That's a coach.
There's the goal, right?
Brilliant.
There's
That's
the
a
challenge. And then what's the fun factor? That you're going to go out there and then you're going to bust your friends up as
dominate.
in a
For
friendly
sure.
in a friendly way, So
A little competitiveness too.
That's what it's about, putting it together that way and finding those aha moments. So that client, he paid me to come to his house. He had a beautiful home gym. He gave me the key, like the code to his house. He said, wake me up at 7 a.m. every day. For 3 months, the dude lost like 7 pounds.
Wow.
Now I'm training less with him, right? But we're getting good training in, and he's playing basketball, and he's being active. In 1 month, he lost 15 pounds.
Wow.
Second month, another 15 pounds.
Wow.
He's eating better because he wants to play better. He's eating better because he wants to train better. So those things are the things that are going to shift your mind, not like, oh, you know what, this 10-minute workout is the best workout, is the most efficient workout. Who cares? Who cares? What does it matter if you're not going to do it?
Right.
What does it matter if you're not going to do it?
1000%.
Yeah.
If I could high five you, man.
High
Oh,
five.
I'll take a
High
virtual-
fives,
I'll take a
Jimmy.
virtual
High
five.
fives,
Virtual
good
five.
vibes. That's bad. I love this. I love where you're coming from, finding something that they really enjoy to do that they don't even realize that they're working out while they do it. And then all of a sudden the results are just following it. And then so they want to show up in a different way to be better at what it is that they're doing.
Jimmy,
that is a coach.
No, 100%.
Kick ass.
Jimmy
man.
Kim, tell us about your podcasts.
Yes.
What do you? How
Sure.
many do you have?
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my podcast, the Remix My Fitness podcast, started out as a little bit of a passion project, just a way to, I was thinking like, promote the guests and things like that, promote myself and my business, but it's turned into something where I'm able to connect with just people all around the world. Like just this podcast that I released this morning, I had the main stuntman for the Eternals movie, the Marvel Eternals movie, come on to the podcast. And sure, I brought him on because he was like, oh, what a cool guest, Hollywood stuntman, and he shared stories about getting slammed into the table by The Rock and how amazing he was.
Sweet.
But
Wow.
It turns out this stuntman is 2 PhDs from Oxford, England, is a full-time martial artist, is a pianist, a composer, a book writer, And I'm just looking at him like, and he's like 35 years old. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what have I done with my life? You know? So, but it is like inspiring to kind of hear these things. And it's not just him, but other guests that come on. I do coaching. I do live coaching calls with people. So people got questions about their fitness or health, or they want me to check out their home weight training program. Because the podcast is based around the idea of like, how do I train at home and how do I train at home efficiently? Which is, you know, if you're gonna train at home, number one, honestly, this is not kind of stroking you guys and I'm on your show, but I've had these power blocks with me for at least 10 years and durable. The best ones are the best adjustable weights on the market, hands down. You know, and you mentioned your competitors there, hands down, way better than those, right?
Thanks,
because
Jimmy.
like, you know, because like the other ones, they're like, I mean, they look more like weights, but they're like long and awkward, are they not? Like,
That's what she said.
You know,
They're junk. They're junk, and I don't even call them competitors now.
yeah. So, anyways, you know, but
Getting
it's
down and dirty.
it's things like that. You know, that we talk about on the show, and I got guests that come on, and you know, it's about remixing your fitness and finding like maybe that aha. Like, I don't agree with all the guests that come onto the show. You know, they have their own different theories and different thoughts, but it's worth a listen to. And if I can pick up one tip from every guest that I have on, man, that means that only makes me better. So
Right. Word
Rad.
up.
from
Man, word up is
here,
right.
it stemmed from like a listener calling in me and asking me like, hey, how do you do this podcasting thing? I told him everything that he needed to know, and a week later he's like, I can't do it. Could you do it for me? Could you co-host?
Oh.
Could you co-host my podcast for me? I'm like, what kind of podcast do you have? He's like, I have like I have a health technology company. And we're talking about cloud services, cybersecurity. I'm like, I don't know anything about that.
This
He's
week
like, no,
in health tech.
yeah,
That's
this
it,
week in
right?
health
This
tech.
week
There we
in
go,
health
right?
tech.
So it's turned into then other listeners, and then, you know, now we got a good stable of shows under another brand of business that I run. So it's, you never know how things, like how your card's gonna play. I never thought that I would be doing this as like a, you know, as a little bit of a living here, or, you know. So it's, you just put yourself out there, and I did this as a passion project because you guys know it costs money to make a podcast,
Show
right?
does.
It costs money, and what are the benefits that you get out of it? Like right offhand, almost nothing, other than like, you know, you get to make a cool show, and you eventually you start to build listeners.
Meet rap people like you, Jimmy. That's what we get out of it.
And I
That's
get
right.
to meet amazing people like yourself, you know.
Boom.
And then from there, if you have like, you know, I was talking to my friends' kids. We were playing some virtual stuff on playing around with my virtual gear in my studio, and they're like, oh, you know, this is great, but you know what? No one's gonna download it, and no one's gonna follow us. And I'm like, hey, pump your brakes. Don't make stuff for just so that people will follow you, right? You make stuff because you care about what you're putting out there. Like,
Yes.
again, like with the whole weight loss thing, that follower number will never satisfy you, like that number on the scale, the number in your bank account.
Wow.
Very well said.
You're a pretty cool dude, even though you're Canadian, Jimmy. I love it, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
I get that on occasion.
Yeah,
I get
well,
that
you
on
know,
occasion.
I mean, it's Toronto. It's close enough.
Well, you're doing what you should be doing. You know, I mean, the podcast hosting, everything. Where did MC Kim come from? Was that
Well,
something like a
MC
moniker you made for yourself? How did that come up?
I didn't make it for myself. So when I was in post-secondary school, I'll tell you guys, I wasn't much of a student, but I just thought like after high school, you go to like university, college, and you know, you kind of figure things out. But in fact, I hated university. I hated going there. Instead, I was always figuring out, like, how do I make money to pay off for my school? So a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, he was a DJ, and he wanted to produce like mixed CDs. So he's like, hey, I was doing like morning announcements in my school, and he's like, you got a nice like radio voice. Could you MC on my thing? Just, you know, one of those guys like, hey, everybody, you know,
Right.
this is whatever track.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, I don't know, you know, what should I call myself? And he's like, I don't know, like maybe like MC Kim. I'm like, all right, but I sound like a female, like I don't want people to think it's like a female MC that's coming on. So he's like, all right, so why don't you do MC Kim? And we're just kind of thinking around. So I came up with like MC Kim, aka the kind, intelligent man. And then at night, I call myself the current international model. My wife doesn't think so, but you know. So from there, we sold mixed CDs at flea markets. I would sell mixed CDs at my school at, you know, $10 a pop. Wow. And for my second, third, and fourth year university, that's what paid for school, and that's what I had the most fun doing. Never thinking fast forward like, like 15, 20 years later, like I'm now using it as a moniker and for my podcast, because when I first started, I went off as Jimmy Kim, and I was kind of a little bit more nervous and whatever, and I thought, what if I designed a character for myself, would that help me break out of my shell a little bit? And I went back to my MC days, and I thought, you know what, as MC Kim, I always felt confident, as a confident person because of it. So that's where
I can feel that. I absolutely can feel that confidence for sure. And you should. You're very good at what you do, brother.
Awesome, dude. Yeah. Well, we should wrap it up. We've taken up enough of his time. Hey, Dan, look at this. Where do you get that cool microphone, that little circle thing? Why don't we have that?
Come on.
Well, you guys aren't cool. Only people from Toronto get one of these.
Is that what it is?
It's a Canadian thing.
It's a Canadian coolness.
Yeah. No. Amazon will probably be your best friend for it. And I don't know who your producer is, but it's cheap. It's cheap enough to get. It's in the budget.
It's
in the budget.
Well, He's an awesome producer, and he's expensive as heck. But we'll
keep him around.
We're happy to have him
around.
Yeah.
I know another podcast producer that might be interested.
Hey,
Dan.
Dan's got competition.
I'm kidding. I try to take nobody's job. job.
We're good.
Well, dig it. You're a great coach, and I really want to appreciate and just call you out for being authentic and real with your clients. I mean, that's huge in itself. You're not putting them in a box. You're figuring out what exactly it is that they want. And I just daps.
No,
man.
that's awesome. A lot of takeaways from this one, Jimmy Kim, and we'll have you on again. And sometime in the future, we'll get another 30 minutes out of you if you don't mind, and if you.
I'll hold you to it. If you guys don't have me on, I might switch to your competitors.
Yeah. He said it. You mean no flex?
It's audio recorded and video recorded. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you know what? For you guys, I put a little bit of gel in my hair, so did that just for you guys.
Dig it.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. What an awesome person you are.
All right, thank you so much.
We'll catch up with you later, man.
On the show.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, brother.
All right, thank you.
So that guy's cool.
I really liked him a lot.
It seems like, a couple of things here that I've noticed. This is like our fourth or fifth guest.
Yeah. From Canada?
No.
Oh.
But yes. But that's not where I was going. From this email list.
Yes.
No, he came to us. I'm sorry, he's our fourth or fifth guest that I wasn't like, hey, Power Block has a relationship with Alyssa Whiteglass or Sean Garner or whatever, right? Sure. All great guests, both great guests.
All of them.
But so he'd listen to our podcast, and pro tip here, whether he means it or not, he goes, hey, love your podcast.
I listened to this one.
I listened to this one, and you guys are good.
You have great chemistry.
Yeah, that kind of crap. That's probably not. He probably didn't mean all.
He strokes your ego a little bit.
There you go. Yep, and that doesn't hurt because I gotta give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that you're being honest.
Sure.
So then
it sounds like he truly was, though.
Well, some people like us.
Well, some people do, and they should.
Yeah.
Well,
so here's the takeaway from Jimmy Kim.
Yeah.
Or a takeaway.
Dig it.
A takeaway, and I want you to tell me what you think. So Jimmy Kim, for people listening that might be wondering, gosh, I know I need to exercise. And I've heard about this weightlifting thing. I've listened to Kitty and Jason talk about it, and other people
ad nauseum,
on other podcasts. And I really like Jason and Kitty because they tell me I don't even need power blocks. They're great, and I should have them, but I can do other things.
It's true.
And even those chunky Bowflexes I've got in the garage. But if I don't like that, if that's not my jam, do I need to do that? If as an example, my goal is still weight loss, but general conditioning and weight loss.
Sure.
And the answer is Jimmy Kim's like, no, let's find something fun.
Basketball. Mine's dance.
There you go.
It's cardio, it's strength, it's everything.
Mine would be, I happen to do like running and lifting.
Sure.
So I'm lucky that way.
Golf.
But golf's not.
Golf's not a really
No. But.
Chicken butt?
Yeah. But this is true. Like, remember when he talked about the dude who threw the power block?
Yes.
But wanted to play basketball?
Yes.
And now he's got some motivation to go to those basketball games to out hoop his friends. So his motivation to go into the gym and lift weights.
Exactly.
I do it year round, but I can only golf for 7 months out of the year.
Maybe.
But I use strength training. I'm a better golfer the stronger I am. Some of it's probably in my mind. But like I lift heavy.
Have you seen the muscles on Bryson DeChambeau?
Well, no, I understand the. I don't look at Bryce. I don't even like the guy. But yeah, sorry to hear that. But here's the thing: I know how important it is for the golf game and for me psychologically. So I use that as a thing. So my point is, what if maybe there's a sport? Maybe it is golf. Maybe it's basketball. Maybe it's soccer.
Yeah.
That might be the
Stronger slap shot in hockey, whatever it may be.
You do that for your exercise. Golf wouldn't count, but you get my point.
Right.
But anyway, I love that. That was great.
Yeah, he was probably one of my favorite guests. I'll be honest, and we've had quite a few, so I'll put him at top 2 for sure.
So, okay, I don't rank them.
Okay,
They're all number 1 for
all right.
me.
Oh, you're such a softie.
I'm on camera. I can't get away with that.
That was sweet of you, Jay.
I tell you what. I will. Do you want to do an episode where we rank them? Because I'll do it.
Sure.
I don't think you would. There's no way you would do
rank them.
Would you do that?
Of course I would.
Yeah, but you'd rank them.
I'd be nice, though.
But the 55th one would still get a compliment.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
absolutely. Yeah. Where should someone go if they want to find out more about our podcast?
Don't we have trivia?
No.
Dan, just kidding.
Dan.
No, hey, by the way, I should bring that up though
We're
because
coming back with it.
this was I think this went well. This is great. It's video. It's the first one. Jimmy Kim, awesome guest. But Dan needs to work out a few little bugs, I guess, for lack of a better term. We'll have trivia next time.
Yes.
Yeah. So that'll be cool.
Promise, Dan? Promise. Yeah. Thumbs
awesome.
up. Dig it.
What do we need to finish with?
I was just going to say, where do you go to find out more about PowerBlock?
Powerblock.com.
Dig it.
World's best dumbbell, built different.
Subscribe, support, share. Give us a review on Apple iTunes. We would really, really appreciate it. Send us some feedback, podcast@powerblock.com.
Hey, little thing here.
Sure.
If you, no promises, but if you go to Apple Podcasts and give us a review, and then you email podcast@powerblock.com, with your screenshot.
Yeah.
You may get something.
I like getting
I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Dig it. Thank you very much for being here, Jason. I'll see you next week, yeah?
Thanks for having me. Peace
All
out.
right. Dig it.